Hello and welcome to a video that I am making. I'm making this video right now. Isn't that crazy? So basically, I am going to do a quick little video about the audiobooks that I've been listening to. There's four of them, I believe, that I have that I want to talk about. So I'm trying to decide, should we do the good or the bad, the ugly or the pretty, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I guess we'll just go in order that I wrote them down. Sorry, I got people messaging me. Um, so the first book I want to talk about is actually going to be the last book that was on my list. It's not the last book I listened to, but the first book I listened to in November, I think. And it's The Last House on Needless Street. I'm going to put it right here for you to see. I hated this book. It had like a 3.6 or a 3.9 or something on Goodreads. I don't get it. I didn't like it that much. Um, I thought it was just long and boring and very predictable. Like, I thought it was super predictable. Um, I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. All I wrote down was boring, long, and predictable. So I guess I can kind of tell you a little bit about the book. It's about this guy Ted, and he lives in this house with his daughter and his cat, and there's like a murder, and there's been several murders in this little town or whatever, and one of the murdered or missing daughters or whatever girls, her older sister tries to um, find her and ends up finding out this whole thing, and yeah, it's I don't know how to explain it without giving it away. So I'm not going to give it away, but just know that if you read I'm Thinking of Ending Things, you're probably going to be disappointed by this book. Because I'm Thinking of Ending Things did this trope justice, I thought, and did it really well. Yeah, so I wasn't a big fan of The Last House on Needless Street by, oh my God. I just asked how you pronounce her name. Um, Catarona? Catronia? Catrona? Catrona? I don't know. I don't know. I'm terrible with names. Then the next book I listened to was The X-Hex by Aaron Sterling. And that was a romance slash magical thing. There were witches in it. They are witches. The main characters are witches. It's about witches that teach in the school, and some of them teach witchcraft and stuff. I thought it was pretty decent. I wrote down cute, quirky, sexy with a dash of magic. What else do you want? What else do you want? I'm not a big I'm not a big romance reader. It's not really my forte, but I have read a few romance, and I do think it's, for a romance, it's pretty standard. It's a really good second chance at love trope theme, whatever you want to call it. I give it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. That's what my eyes look like, by the way. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Would I recommend it to a friend? I thought it was a really quirky, fun romance. I thought it was super cute. And yeah, would recommend to a friend that maybe isn't as well versed into romance as some people. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't got a lot to say about these two books that I'm talking about now, because I gave The Last House on Needless Street 2 out of 5 stars. I don't really it's not memorable. I don't really give a crap about it. Um, whatever. whatever. The XX, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Would I read it again? Actually, maybe. Like next Halloween, it'd be a cute reread. I did find it really it was very upbeat. Um, I did like the writing style. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it. It is exactly what it says it is, and I think that's fair. There's nothing messing around. And then, so I am working on this project for YouTube, and it's gonna be a project on Lolita, but it's gonna be. I'm starting to realize it's much larger than that. It's actually more so about the male gaze and young women and stuff like that. So it's taking me a bit longer than I thought it would, but one of the books that I listened to for this project is Being Lolita, a memoir by Alison Wood. And she did a fantastic job of telling her story. I thought it was vulnerable and raw and incredibly relatable. Even though I may not have experienced like a relationship, a very inappropriate relationship with a teacher, but I've had inappropriate relationships with older men as a very young girl. Like I was like 15 and he was like 20. So that's, not good, not good. And, yeah, um, sorry, everything is going off. So yeah, incredibly similar story to My Dark Vanessa, which I'm not too sure what came out first, My Dark Vanessa or Being Lolita, because they are so incredibly similar. I think there was controversy around, one second, I gotta close this shit here. Message my husband. Um, the similarities, without giving away too much, is well, between My Dark Vanessa and Being Lolita, like they both fall for a teacher, except in My Dark Vanessa, I believe she's 15. Being Lolita, Allison was 17 and her teacher was 26. Whereas in My Dark Vanessa, I believe the girl's 15 and oh, is it Strain? I can't remember. I haven't reread My Dark Vanessa yet, so I can't remember what the teacher's name is. But he, I think is 35 in the novel. She does make it much bigger, but Lolita is a big theme, is a big there's a big hair on my glasses. Lolita is a very common whatchamacallit, blah, 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 symbol. It's constantly being tossed around in both books. It has greater meaning throughout the story, especially in Being Lolita. Allison really dives in and does a lot of like breaking down of Lolita and teaching you what the book's actually about. So if you've never read Lolita, and you decide to read Being Lolita, a memoir, you are going to learn a lot about Lolita, the novel, and I think it's a really good starting point if that's something you want to get into without getting into the nitty gritty of reading the book, which I am currently rereading. So yeah, Allison was very relatable. I can 100% understand why she became so enthralled with her teacher, with this older man who was giving her attention. Allison was going through a lot, mentally and emotionally, and at such a young age, being so vulnerable. Like, uh, wow. And I thought it was really a really well done audiobook. I'm pretty sure Allison reads it, and I thought she did a wonderful job. She yeah, she really, you could tell like this book was obviously like very very tough for her to relive, as because she doesn't start writing the book, I don't think, until 15 years after she stops talking to Mr. North, or Nick, whatever you want to call him, her teacher. And the relationship was incredibly toxic, incredibly abusive. The gaslighting was unreal. Um, yeah, it was just overall like, wow. Wow. I actually watched an interview with Allison, and she gets messages all the time that this is happening to so and so, or this happened to me with a coach or a pastor, or a counselor, student counselor. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, like, how common it is for women, for girls, for young girls, for children, oh my God, to experience these things. Like, unreal, unfucking believable. Which leads me to the next book that I listened to, um, which is My Body by Emily Ratajkowski. And this was a series of essays, a collection of essays, and it's not really, it's kind of a memoir, but more of a introspection, like a look into her own life, and she really dissects what it is to be a model, and what it is to be a woman, and what it's like to grow up with, you know, being told that, I don't know. Like, when I try to explain this book, it sounds like, oh, like it's this pity story about this pretty girl, but it's so much more than that. Like, Emily is incredibly insightful, and she's obviously got skills in writing, and is a very smart, and just seems like a very sweet person, and she seems to have a really good head on her shoulders. And so I'm just going to kind of go through the list of stuff that I have written down here for this, because I love this book. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I would have given it 5 out of 5, but I don't know. There is some things about it, but honestly, like, should I even be rating things that are memoir? Like, should I be rating memoirs? I think I'm not going to rate memoirs anymore. But yeah, so basically, this book took me by surprise. The minute I started listening to it, I knew I was gonna like it. Emily reads it and does such a phenomenal job, and is so vulnerable and raw about it, and like, you can tell by the way she reads it that it's coming from a very, like, a very like self-aware part of her, and she's got a lot of wisdom. I would say this girl is wise AF. For, and I this book took me by surprise. It did, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It's my own internalized misogyny. I thought, oh, a model writing a book, fucking great. Like, woe is me. A book called My Body. Like, your body's perfect. You're perfect. Your life is perfect. But that's not the case. It's not the case at all. Um, She really dissects um, the world that she lives in, and strips bare um, the beyond the shallowness of her body. Um, in a sense, this novel is taking off more than what she's already bared to the public, which is literally everything. Physically, if you can Google her and see her naked, like, and that's not necessarily like, some of it's her choice, some of it wasn't her choice. She was part of the great oh, I can't remember what it's called. There's a term for it, but um, she was one of the celebrities got hacked in like 2016 or whatever, um, and had their news leak or whatever. And so, I mean, that's a whole nother discussion of bullshittery. So, anyways, so she really, like, this novel, I think it was a really good opportunity for her to, like, to show us something deeper than what she can show physically, because so often we attribute our bodies as us as people, and determine ourselves based on what we show and what we don't show physically, and that and and judge people's values and morals based on what they are physically. It's crazy. um I really thought that this was um a very deep introspectional, is that okay, I want to say introspectional, but I don't know if that's a look at her life as a model, her life as a girl who, you know, looked older than she was, or was treated a different way because solely the way she looks. And it's, yeah. Um, Listening to this collection, it was easy to hear the wisdom in Emily's voice. She has a particular cadence to the way she speaks. It was very emotional, and um, I know I keep saying raw, but it was very raw. You could tell when she was reading this novel that it was um, that you're supposed to take it seriously. Um, the one thing I didn't like about this memoir, and the one thing I just don't like in general, and it's not necessarily about this story. Sorry, my dog's drinking water. Um, it's not necessarily her fault. She does try to, like, be honest about the situation, but Emily, just because of the nature of her job and stuff, it's very capitalistic and very um, and is fueled by the patriarchy. I would say her line of work, considering she does mostly like sports illustrated type stuff. I know high fashion is definitely seen more by more women, but is also like Victoria's Secret and stuff like that. Like, it's supposed to be for women, but it's for men, you know. But I know Victoria's Secret has changed some stuff. So, anyways, I did think that Emily's commentary on capitalism was insightful. It was a unique perspective because she is very honest about her contributions to American capitalism. Um, and I think it's fair to want to have a secure life, and if you can do that with your body, and be able to do things that you enjoy, like, why not? If the system is set up for that to be successful, then I think it's totally within her rights to do that. So I don't hold that against her. She is totally aware of her contribution, which I'm pretty sure I just said. Um, and honestly, like, it's not easy money. It's not. She doesn't, like. modeling is seen as this super simple job, and that's why they think that women who do it are just dumb. I'm not saying that I'm not saying the models are dumb, but that's what some people think. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous, because the amount of abuse, assault, harassment, um, scrutiny, and constant being picked and prodded at, you have to have a certain, head on your shoulders to be able to separate that from who you really are and what your worth really is to the people that love you, and not to strangers, and not to random agencies or companies or whatever. So for her to be able to separate those things is pretty admirable. I think, like I said, I do think she is quite smart, and I really enjoyed this book a lot. It was cleanly written. It was spoken sincerely. There was parts where she cried at the end of the essay, and or was crying reading her essay, and it felt like a friend was coming to me and telling me about everything that they really needed to get off their chest. It felt very sincere. Um, yeah, vulnerable ride. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So thank you so much for listening to my TED Talk. So yeah, thank you for watching my YouTube video. And there might be some stuff here and there. I don't know what I'm doing with this video quite yet. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And have a wonderful, wonderful morning, evening, day, night, whatever you're doing. Okay, bye.